Hi everyone, this is the Maiden of the S800 wing, purchased from Banggood. It's running a Maytech F405 wing flight controller, analog VTX for video, but also it's running a DJI Caddx Vista video system. Not both at the same time, I hasten to add, but more on that later. Just running a AXR FreeSky receiver as well with it at the moment, just before Crossfire gets fitted. A 2204 motor and a 5-inch bullnose prop, which doesn't seem to have a lot of thrust to me, but we'll have more on that later. And you notice an Osmo Action camera in the front. Again, we'll see a bit more flight footage from that later. So a little bit frustratingly checking back on the DVR footage. This is recorded from the DJI goggles. Got a rapid fire module in my DJI goggles to give me analog feed, but a little bit frustrating that I didn't actually pick up the initial launch. Full disclosure, I have flown this plane once before for a very quick trim in manual mode, but it was a very short flight, so this really is not probably the Maiden, but second flight. This was done all in auto launch from iNav, so I just went for it and threw the thing, and it launched very well, and then as you can see went into loiter mode. Excuse the Fox Ear 8 volts and nonsense in the OSD at the bottom. That's just left on from the camera where I've not switched it off, but the OSD, the rest of the OSD is from iNav. So now just jumping into manual mode, but what I do notice is that the it's very wibbly wobbly, as you can see, very out of control. So I think this was servo trim needed sorting out. It just seemed to be a bit of a handful, so stuck the auto trim on to trim out the servos. The way I understand this next is that you land, leave an auto trim set and simply disarm, and that stores the servo positions. So with the servo positions stored, off for another flight and a quick auto tune. There's some scary stories about auto tune not working that great, and I was a bit prepared to go back to manual mode, but it seemed okay. So flew it around, and it did do, as people suggest, goes very docile and very soft and mushy, but then seemed to snap up, and yeah, it was a perfect tune after that. It is a really windless day today, so no real issues. So with the auto tune over now, just got a quick landing, and then just a quick save and reboot using the stick commands. So disarm and do the save and reboot. One odd thing I have noticed here is that on rebooting sometimes, I think it may be when I only reboot from this menu, I can get GPS lock, and then eventually it comes up GPS failure, which you'll see on the screen. It's easily fixed by just unplugging the power and repowering, and it seems to be okay. No other issues with GPS apart from that, but yeah, just a little bit odd. There you go. So after landing, I removed the analog video, so unplugged the transmitter for the video, just to stop any interference potentially with the DJI system, which is also on 5.8. This is 720p 50 megabits per second video straight out the goggles. It actually looks poorer on the screen than I'm actually seeing in the goggles. It is widescreen on the Caddx. It's got the widescreen set on the Caddx Vista. It's pretty immense, I have to say, all encompassing. Areas over here where I've flown on analog, it's patchy to say the least. I struggle. I know the other guys fly 5.8 and sometimes 1.3, and I think they get okay coverage, but it's absolutely, as you can see, crystal clear. I don't think I'd have any problem going long range with this. At this point when I was getting out of here already, the X8R receiver was complaining. I'm not quite sure why. It was about 75% signal, but it was complaining a little bit. So I'm going to swing back round and then come in for a landing, and we'll switch over and put the Osmo Action on. So take off the dead weight on the front that I've got in there and put the Osmo Action on. One thing I should mention is the lack of OSD in this goggle recording on the DJI system. You do actually see it, but it's not recorded. Oh my God. Right, we're going to fly the Shadow S800. We've already had some flights with it with iNav, which is pretty good, and analog we switched the DJI system, so we're running DJI Caddx Vista, but now I'm going to put this Osmo Action, this in my hand, filming you with. So this may be the last film you ever see from the Osmo Action, or you may not get it back because it may be in the field somewhere. So we'll see. So again, launched in auto launch. Once again, all the launches today have been auto launch and all successful. Heading on out here, and then it's going to hang a right and turn back in, back towards us. Always get a bit nervy after launching like this. It's not going to come back, but it does seem to. Interesting as well that you'll see in the pictures I posted right at the very beginning of this video, I've managed to peak the Caddx Vista at the top because I was very worried about cooling because they do get extremely hot. But when we landed it and touched the top of it, it was freezing cold. So I think it would be okay under the cover with just the vents, but for the extra cooling, it's at the top. Then, if you don't know what happens with the Caddx Vista, if it overheats, it actually shuts down to a lower power mode, which obviously could be a bit of a problem if you're out a long way. But no, it seemed really cool. Obviously, recorded on the Osmo Action here is in 4K, 60 frames per second. I might slow a few clips down here in a bit just to see what it's like. It's in rock steady mode, which is their version of hyper smooth. I don't think it's as good as the GoPro, I have to say, but it's pretty good all the same. So in summary, the S800 Shadow Reptile Wing seems to fly quite nice, quite smooth, but it is a very calm day today. We'll get blown around, I think, in a little bit of wind. We'll see how iNav flattens that out for us, I guess. I think for me the big trial was iNav. This is my first iNav wing, but also to see how DJI performs, DJI Digital FPV performs in a wing. And I'm really surprised how good it is, to be honest. I know people have tried it, haven't liked it, and gone back to analog and various other things, but for me, Digital's staying on this wing, I think. So future upgrades, I don't think I'm going to do very much apart from add a lithium-ion battery, a 4S1, I think, using the Sony cells, the high-powered Sony cells, because at the moment there's a 1.8 nanotech battery in here. It's quite an old one, 3 or 4 years old. It's had its day, I think. So yeah, get a bit more flight time with the lithium-ion. I designed and printed some 3D parts for this build, particularly really around the DJI Digital video system and the Osmo Action mount. So you should be able to find those in the description below. That's about it, a victory roll, and we'll catch you later, I guess. Hope you enjoyed the flight.